dream last night about the rapture of the church. And to be honest, I didn't even want to talk about this. I kind of wish that I could just swallow it and keep it pushing, but I felt the promptings from God to tell people what I saw. And I ain't no prophet, I ain't no preacher, I ain't no priest. And I kind of feel like people wouldn't want to hear it from me. Like, even if the world was coming to an end and God gave me instructions, people would rather die than to hear it from me. But that's cool too. No, but I dreamt that I don't know, we was in Las Vegas. I was in Las Vegas, and when I went to sleep, my wife went to sleep first, and I was gonna turn off the TV, and I told her I wanted to keep watching it because I wasn't sleepy yet. And I went to sleep, and I had a dream that it was like a flat platform, and I had got caught up out of my bed, but I didn't get caught up in the clouds yet. It was like a platform, and I ended up in an elevator, but I wasn't by myself. It was like other saints. But in the dream, like, you couldn't see people's physical body, but I could see, like, it was like we had a different body. It was like a spiritual body. It was transcendent, almost you could see through it, but it was powerful, and it was real shining and bright. It was almost like better than this fleshly body. And I was on the elevator with a bunch of other spirits. They was all holy. You could feel the peace and the love of God. And the elevator was like ding, and it had got all the way to the top. And in the dream, I could see outside the elevator, and it was like a circle, and it was like every door all the way around was elevators. And it's like we all stepped out at the same time. And I could tell that it was angels getting off some of the elevators with some of the saints that had got caught up. But I mean, you could feel a greater power than human, but they didn't look like the traditional angels that men like draw. You see artwork and pictures of. And we all stood out on this platform, and it was kind of like when your favorite team wins the championship, and you just want to cheer. Like, we was all just cheering, like we had beat the earth systems and the devil. We was above the government. There was nothing the devil could do to stop us. Because I remember when we got there, somebody had said something like, like, finally we made it, and it's our time now. I remember I shouted out, and there's no man or government on earth that can stop us. And it was real, so I was really excited. It's funny because I said we was in Las Vegas. I think it kind of represented like Sin City, like looking down on the earth and everything that corrupt that goes on here. And it's funny because it's like God was there, but he didn't have like a face like in the traditional Bible and all the Jesus movies. You just could feel him. I think that's kind of what it was like when Christ was here. That's why so many people didn't accept him, because he didn't look like they thought he would look, but you could feel him. And I say that because in the dream, like, it didn't matter, like you didn't need a drink, or you didn't need to get high, or you didn't need to have sex. It was like there was such an overwhelming peace and joy there. Like, you was just already full of happiness. It's like the second we walked out on the platform, I just wanted to fall down and start crying and worshiping God. Even when I felt like that when I woke up, I just wanted to do it. And the funny thing is, God said, he looked at all of us, and he turned around and said, I'll be right back. I'm finna go get dressed. And I thought about in Revelation when it says he was clothed in a vesture dipped in blood, and on his head was many crowns, and he had a name written on his thigh that says King and Lord. It was like he's finna go get the full army. Like, this was just Las Vegas. This was just one city in America, one country on the globe. And he was like, hold on, I'm finna go get everybody. And it was like when he said that, it was kind of like a warning, because a lot of the saints we was transcending, but it was like poof, poof. Some of them was going to go warn their families and friends. And I remember I said to another saint who was next to me, or spiritual being, I said, I'm not leaving this platform. I just didn't want to be away from it. It was so much glory and light there, love and peace, unlike anything on earth. I said, I'm not leaving this platform. And, I kind of woke up, and I was really disappointed that I had woke up, because I was back in my bed, and I didn't want to come back. And, but I couldn't stop smiling, like in the middle of the night. And I didn't want to wake my wife up, because she get up early, and she had to work, and I didn't. So I know she been needing her rest, but I had to tell somebody. So I started shaking her. And she finally turned over like, yeah. And I said, I had a dream about the rapture. And she said, and you woke up okay? So I think, well, her family ain't as religious as mine, but we've talked about it before, so she know what it is. But I think she's so used to me having nightmares about demons chasing me, or I wake up terrified. So she thought it probably was just another one of them, but it was different. I said, no, I had a dream about the rapture. And I said, she still wasn't quite woke. When I shook her again, I said, look at my face. And then she looked at me and she said, you smiling? I said, yeah, and I can't stop smiling. And then she smiled and she laid back down. But it was like the love I felt in the dream kind of resonated, and I brought it with me back to earth. Because I remember when I was laying there, it felt like the light I felt in the dream was still coming out of my pores, like it was still burning hot. And I actually, when she woke up, she kind of did like this, and I thought that there was so much light coming out of my face, she had to block it. And I thought about that scripture when Moses got the 10 Commandments, but I know it was nothing like that. But it felt like that. And I remember the very last thing I remember, which is why I'm here now, because like I said, I just would have swallowed it and kept it in my heart, like so many other spiritual dreams. I don't tell everybody, but I remember when I turned around to look at the clock to see what time it was, and it was 2:55. I remember it was double digits. And I remember I told my cousin once, every time I look at the clock, it's in double digits. And I told him, because it was kind of bothering me, kind of creeped me out a little bit. And he said, well, how do you feel when you see the double digits? And it wasn't like a fear, it was more like kind of like a warning, like be ready, something's coming. And that's kind of how it felt. It felt like be ready. It also felt like it's finna be your time now, so stop playing because you're running out of time. And it also felt like tell them, because they running out of time too. That was the last thing I remember, was that haunting feeling of looking at the clock. And I mean, I'm sure I'm leaving things out. It's not that I'm actually talking about the dream. I know that I'm leaving things out, so y'all probably have a lot of questions, but that was the basis of it. It's certain feelings you can't really explain. You just had to be there. But I mean, it was just amazing, just the presence of God. And I'm thankful that I kept wondering why would he come get me? He came and got me for this. Like with everybody else, a lot of times you feel like you're not worthy. At least I know I do. But that was the dream. And it's time to get busy now. And just thank you for listening. If you got something out of it, God bless you.